Thank you everyone for joining uh, to this webinar today of Payments2Us Studio. We're all excited to have a lot of people here today. We'll be showcasing some of our powerful features of Payments2Us Studio, which is designed to give you more flexibility and control over online payments and forms. We'll kick off the webinar with a short presentation, and then we'll dive into a live demo. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes for everyone else to join, and then we'll get started. Feel free to message us in the chat window if you have any questions, and we'll try to answer as much as possible. But we'll still have like a Q&A session at the end of the call. All right, I think we can start now. So Jeff, you can take over and let us know about Payments2Us Studio.
Thank you, Vish. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on Payments2Us Studio. My name is Jeff Challis. I'm the Chief Technology Officer here. At Payments2Us, we've always listened to our customers, taken their feedback, and their ideas and suggestions is primarily what drives our research and development. Over the last little while, we've received quite a number of suggestions that we should provide more engaging, more dynamic, more visually appealing web and online donation forms. And today I am pleased to present our Payments2Us Studio that aims to address exactly that need. Our team have been working tirelessly on this for quite a large number of months. But I'd like to thank all of them individually here, but particularly I'd like to pick out our UI specialist, Rena, and I'm sure you'll see her input in this presentation today. So a couple of things that I want to do before we actually go into the presentation. I just want to point out that Payments2Us has always had like an online form and an online donation form. That form is very secure. It offers a large number of payment gateway integrations. It has the ability to link it in with campaigns and all these sort of options behind the scenes, like, cover transaction fees, surcharges, the ability to have, suggested donations, the ability to create personalized URLs and the like. And it's also had the ability with a small add-on fee to create your own custom themes and styling to make it more branded to your website, including, fonts and colors. Many of our customers, what they've done is they've chosen to engage their own web developer, and for that they've created a suggested donation amounts and put graphics and things like that, and then they've also asked for the the contact details, and then what they've done is led into our page as the final page for actually taking the the donation amount, and that records the details into Payments2Us. This normally costs a few $1,000s depending on where people have gone to do that. But the other one that some of our customers have done, this is normally the large customers that have the luxury of having their own in-house developer, or maybe they've got third party that they engage to do this, where they've created their own forms and captured the payment and done everything exactly as they like. And then what they do is they use our Payment Complete webhook. And what that does is get that information into Salesforce, into Payments2Us, so that our regular giving can then manage those payments, our receipting, our annual statements. And then they use our back office for transact payment or batch entry or import files and the likes. So what has happened here is we've kind of taken the best of all of these worlds and combined them all together to create Payments2Us Studio. So we've got, the great looking engagement forms, or the lead-in pages, or the, customized forms. We're leveraging the existence of our, our online donation forms, and we create visually appealing forms. So just to recap, so why did we create Payments2Us Studio? Well, we listened to our customers, we took their feedback, what they wanted. But some of the things they said is, we don't really want to go out and get an external third party to create our forms. We want to be able to do that ourselves. We want to have no code. We don't want to have any hassle. We want like a drag and drop type editor. We wanted to leverage what we've already got set up inside Payments2Us. We don't want to recreate things. We wanted to make sure something was mobile optimized. And we wanted a quick start by being able to select from predefined templates, or more importantly, just clone what you had last year, change the graphics, change a bit of the text, and get something going. Also, they didn't want to pay much for it. They wanted to have something where you could cover the fees, and maybe that would cover the entire cost of the product. They didn't want to also have to wait on engaging their IT resources and waiting for them to come up with a solution as well. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into a Payments2Us Studio design. What I'm going to do first of all is have a look at a pre-built form that we already have existing and run you through how that would look and feel. And then we'll go back and have a look at a setup here. So inside here, I am inside Payments2Us Studio. So this is where we create and author our online donation forms. You can see here we've already got a number of forms already here. But what I'm going to do here is click on the three dots, and from here what you can see is I can update details, or I can actually view the form. So when I click on the view the form, this is all created entirely within Payments2Us Studio. That includes, the menu options at the top here, the text, the graphics, the inbuilt donation form with the suggested amounts, the progress bar of how we're meeting our targets for the campaign, some cards down here that we can put some specific information. So what we've done here is we've created an entire landing page, including the timeout and videos and things like that. So this is a studio created online donation form landing page. What I'm going to do now here is click on the donate now. I'm going to choose monthly in this example, and I can go, well, hey, the most impact here is the $50, so I'm going to select that. I'll go next. What we can do here is we can, fill in our contact details. I notice the address here has got a PO box. What I'm going to do here is start typing in an address, 209 Hyde. And what you'll see here is it comes up with the data validation tool. So we've got inbuilt address autocomplete and data validation in here as well, using one of the third-party tools that we've integrated with. So I'm going to go next. This page here is going to pop up our donation form, and you'll see that we've got some custom themes used here. We can see the progress bars here, how well I'm doing so far in the campaign. And you can tell that this is a live demo. Okay. What you'll see here is I'll just hide this, and I'll put my name in here. So Gerald. And as I start typing in my credit card number, it realizes that it's a Visa card. You'll see here that I've got the cover transaction fee option selected. And what that means here is I'm actually covering my processing fees here, and I've got $1.38 calculated here. So let's carry on, and I'll enter in my credit card details. Thanks. And what you notice here is we'll go off to the payment gateway. It will check to see if the transaction is valid or not. If it's successful, it will go to the thank you page. If it's not successful, it will come back and give you the option to re-enter your details. That might be such things as entering the invalid donation details. On the thank you page, what you see here is it says, great, thank you, Gerald, and it's mail merged in Gerald, and we can also see the summary here. Once we come into here, we come into Payments2Us, into Salesforce, and we can refresh here, and you'll see the transaction has appeared here, and that's all coming from online. And the rest of the processing from here on is exactly as your normal Payments2Us processing and transacting would occur. Let's go back to the to this, and I'm going to do a little bit of a summary here. So we've gone through there, and we've actually been able to have a form, take a donation, have that information come straight into Salesforce. It would charge the card and create the payment transaction. Obviously, we've got strong anti-fraud still built into here. So for me to create my own online donation form, that's a three-step process. So the first one is I create the form, and you can see here, this is the actual donation form. The second step is I create a thank you page, which we didn't quite see before, but that would be the thank you page. And the third step is what I do is I create that entire landing page that we saw there. So what I'm going to do now is go back to our studio, And the first thing that I do here is I create the online form. So I'm going to add a new form and I give it a title. So I'm going to go EOFY25.form. And it's asking me for a URL. And this, you'll see here, it gives me some steps on how I get the URL, but let me just show you inside Salesforce. So inside Salesforce, we click on the merchant facility, we go to the donation form, and on the donation form, we then go to payment form builder. And we go view, we copy that form. You'll notice at the end, I can also link this to a campaign if I so wish. I go back to the builder here and I go save. So that's how we link it to the settings inside Payments2Us. So what I can do here now is I click on the edit and you'll see things here like, you know, it's got some background colors and things like that. So I can easily come in here and change, you know, my colors if I so wish. So that was, yeah, the active background color. I can change the, you know, main forms and fonts and things like that. You'll see here that I have complete control over that. So some of the other things here is, so this is the form. So what you'll see here is we've got general. So that's about the general sort of page and the background colors and the likes. Then what you can see is on the amounts tab. So that's the second, this tab here. I've got, you know, once off and monthly. Now from here, I can add, you know, something else like, you know, for weekly and go save. Okay, when I'm on here, you'll see I've got, you know, different amounts for, it's got once off. And then if I click on monthly, I can also have different amounts showing here. So from here, I can edit those amounts and I could change that to, you know, say $20. And you can see here, I can upload a file and I can put in my own descriptions. And then I can just simply go update. So that's the update of the amounts page. Now the next page is the contacts page. So that's this tab here. Now from here, I can do things like, you know, I can obviously hide some of these. I can change the label. So maybe I want the mobile, I want to call this mobile phone that I'm asking them for here. And I go, whoops, update, edit, and I put, you know, help test and all that sort of stuff on there as well. And I can change the field labels. One of the other things that I can do here is on the, I can add custom fields. So when I come into add custom fields, it asks me for, you know, field type. I'm going to choose checkbox. And the type of things I might hear, you know, I might ask, would you also like to say, you know, volunteer? So that's going to be the label that's going to appear on the screen. Now what we need to do is we need to link this with the labels inside Payments2Us. So, or with inside Salesforce. So what I do here is I go back to Salesforce, I click on the payment transaction. So I've got that tab highlighted. From here, I go to settings and then go edit object. From the edit object, I go fields and relationships. I locate volunteer and I go, I would like to volunteer. And I just copy that field. Then I go back to the builder and I simply paste that field there. Of course, a system administrator would have had to have added that field previously there. And the final screen is all about the payment screen. And there's some things here that I can kind of hide, you know, some of the, you know, the overview forms that we typically have on here. So that's managing of the forms. What I'm going to do is just click into here and I'm just going to go to one that I kind of prepared before because you can see that the, you know, background images have been changed. And when you go to the amounts tab, you can see things like the, you know, an image has been uploaded and that image represent that there. And you can see the text has been loaded here as well, or keyed in. Great. So the next thing I do is I come back to the pages. Remember I said the first step was create the form. So that's actually the bit that asks you for this, use the donation amounts and transact the payment. The second one is create the thank you page. And then and that's what I'm about to do now. So from here, of course, the easiest way I could do this is I could just come into here and go clone. And that's typically how you'd work, or you can just use one that you've already created if you want to change the, the thank you page at all. So what we do here is we go create thank you. Now what you see here is we've given you 8 different templates that you can choose from. So some of the templates might be, with the thank you details on the left-hand side, some in the middle, all of these different combinations. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose this one here and select centered, and I'll go next. And I give this a name too. So I'm just going to give this EOFY25 dot thank you. And I go done. Now, once I've created that, it's got my thank you, and I can come back into here and press on the dots and go edit the page. Now, what you'll see here is we've got, the layout. You'll see on the thank you page, we've got some nice things here like, thank you, and then, Jeff or George or whoever the donor was and all their details. And you can see the thank you section here has also done the same sort of thing here where it's mail merged and, the last name and the amount and things like that. You can see those details here. And then you've got also control that even though you've got that, you can perhaps change, the colors and things like that. The other things that you can do from here is we have different layouts and widgets that you can drag onto the form. So what I could do here is I could come into layouts and I could drag some columns onto here. And you see a similar type of thing here. What I can do is drag columns onto there. And what you can see here is each one of these things here, I can obviously change the, the colors, I can change the text, I can upload my own images and things like that as well. So that's all fine and dandy. So we can got complete control over that thank you landing page. Save and close. Okay, now just a reminder that the steps were 1, 2, 3. So the first one was create the form, second one is create the thank you page, and the third one is to create the actual landing page where we land on the donation. I'm going to do a similar thing here. Again, we can come into an existing landing page and we could go, clone, but let's go and create one from scratch. So a donation page. Again, we've got 9 different themes that we can choose from here. That gives you a great head start. Once you select a theme, remember you can still upload your own graphics. You can upload your own text or type in your own text. You can change your fonts and colors and things like that. I'm just going to choose this one here as my page. So I go select, and then I go next. I give the page a name. So I call it EOFY25.page. I go next. Now this is where I link the two together. So I had my form that I created before, and I had my thank you page. Okay, this type of thing here is used for, so the expiry date is optional, but what you do is you'd enter this particular thing is, well, expiry date is used for things like the the countdown counter. So I could put a countdown counter that will count down to the end of the financial year. The appeals goal again is optional, but this one here is just used when we do the appeals progress bar. So we're hoping to raise 150,000, and how are we doing so far against that? Okay, I go done. So that's created our page. You'll notice here that it's got a status of unpublished, so it's not yet available externally. I can come into here and I can edit the page. Okay, so things like life changes here. I can change these details to your gift as needed. I can change the background images. I can obviously change the text here. The only thing I can't change in this form here is this, the donation form. I go to the forms and change that. Now, the reason why I can't change that is because this is designed to work on both a mobile and also a desktop. So I can go into the mobile preview and see how my donation form would look like on a phone, or maybe I want to see how it's going to look like on a tablet. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the desktop view. So some of the things we have down here, remember we had the different layouts that we talked about before. So if I wanted the progress bar, I can just grab my progress bar and drag it onto the form here. And you can see that's where we've got, the campaign goals and things like that. The other things we can do here is also things like, widgets, and those widgets might be different images. They might be, for example, like YouTube, right? So I can just drag that onto the form. Now, with that on here, what I can do is, I need to link it to the YouTube video. So let me just press the image here. It's going to ask me for a URL. What I'm going to do here is grab a URL that I've got copied in another screen here. Obviously, you get this for your video that you had already previously uploaded, and paste that and go save. Now, that video happens to be annual statements, which leads me into our topic for next month's webinar. So keep an eye out for the annual statements webinar in June. Okay, so that showed me how I can create a form, a donation form, and then our landing page. So when I go back to here, so the 3 steps: create the form, all the donations, suggested amounts. You can see we've got complete control over the images and suggested donations. Then we've got the thank you page, and you can see that it's got the mail merge details in here. And then what we do is we create the whole landing page or the donation page here that kind of links it all together. Okay, couple of things that I wanted to point out here. You remember when I went through that donation side of things and I talked about the, I wish to cover the transaction fee. This is something that's available to all of us now that are using Payments2Us. And what we've found is that if you put this option on your form, about 80% of donors will leave that turned on, right? And what we're finding here is that roughly around about 6 to 10% is what some of the other platforms. Now, the difference here is when you do the capture donation fee, that goes to you as the organization, right? The key thing here is it's not going to provide for another platform provider and helps their shareholders out, and their board are really happy and things like that with every donation that you get. This generally comes back to you, and you can cover your cost of, Payments2Us, your admin fees, your payment gateway transaction fees, right? And it doesn't go to the other person, and then you still have to pay for, your payment transaction fees. So what we have found is that, say with an average monthly donation of $35, and remember I said the rate's between 6 and 10%, so let's go modest at 6.5%, and with 80% of people clicking through and actually accepting those donations, that if you had 1,000 donors, that would be a $1,820 net difference to you every month to pay for all of the costs of your, processing and, payment gateway fees and things like that. Now, if you had 2,000 regular donors, that's $3,640. And if you had 4,000 donors, that's $7,280 every single month, right? This money would normally go to that third party, or you can have it go back to yourself and cover your transaction fees. And not only that, if you weren't doing this, you'd still have to pay your payment gateway fees. Okay. Which leads me on to this offer for today's webinar. So for today, we've got, take a note of this form or use your phones to scan to sign up for it. We're going to give an offer to 5 nonprofits that will give you access to Payments2Us Studio for 6 months free of charge. After that, it'll become $189 each month. Now, for those people that are involved on this limited, the first 5 people, we're going to give you a dedicated success manager that help you through your launch and your campaign. You'll receive complimentary training all as part of this. There is no ongoing long-term obligation or commitment, okay, for those 5 people. But there is a but. But what we ask in return is that we really, really want you to be successful. We really want you to rave about Payments2Us Studio, and we want to see you get lots more donations and things like that. And in return, what we're looking to do is within 3 months, we would like you to provide a case study and feedback. Obviously, during this pilot program, we're looking for feedback and suggestions. We're always looking for that. For those people that are perhaps not ready to go right now, or maybe are not part of those 5 people, you can still go to that form and register, and we'll take a note that maybe you want to keep interested. Maybe you've got some further questions that we aren't able to answer during this call, or you just want to keep up to date. So that's Payments2Us Studio. So thank you for that. And we're going to open it up for questions and answers. We've got a few of the product people on the line as well that can perhaps help out. So Vish, I'm not sure if you want to read the questions.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. We actually have a couple of questions. First question is from Justin. Can we feed personalized ask payment URLs with this? And are we able to track UTMs with this?
Okay, I'm going to perhaps ask some of the other people to answer the URL side of things. But for the UTM, this first release doesn't have something like that, or Google Analytics and things like that built into it yet. But we're aiming to add that shortly as part of a version 2.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The next question is from Edel. How does several payment looks in Salesforce under one donor name? Do we get receipt for each donation or one receipt when donation is completed?
That so at this stage, we're launching this with a single person, single donation. You can obviously, record some custom fields and use the, like the memory and that sort of stuff there as well. But if you're talking about split payments, we do have a split payments module as part of Payments2Us, but that is more internal facing.
Thanks. Next question is from Naveed. Notice that the builder was primary showcase for donations. Will this work for other record types such as event tickets or peer-to-peer?
At this stage, our focus has primarily been on the donation forms and creating, great looking donation forms. We'll continually improve, our products and things like that. And we do have, custom themes and some options there that you can provide quite a bit of configuration to those other modules. But at this stage, it's primarily focused on donations. That's where we received, most of our feedback and our customer needs. And, as I said, that kind of feeds our priorities based on, the large number of people that ask for things. So.
Thanks. We have another question from Albert. How can we do dynamic or multiple campaign attribution? Like in memory of example goes to a different campaign, recurring donation goes to another campaign, etc.
That's something that you can perhaps, so most of those things would be handled with either different forms, but that's more of a configuration option after the payment is taken and allocating of it, which campaign and things like that goes to. We've got quite a large number of ways of assigning the attributes of a donation to a campaign, but that's more, back-end Payments2Us side of things. So once the payment comes into Salesforce, we would find other ways of, switching out which campaign it has. Work with your, Salesforce partner on that side of things to give you a hand to set that up, or, look at our premium support side of things.
Yep. Thanks. Does anyone have any more questions? Yeah, I think that's all. So we're getting 1 or 2 questions.
The one, can you edit the vanity URL? Yes, we can create a personalized URL. So to be whatever your organization is. So you probably have something prefix that. So donate.xyz.org. So that's something we can help set up.
Just a reminder as well, we have a Payments2Us link on the screen as well. If anyone wants to join, you can quickly scan the QR code or just click on to sign up. There is another question from Arthritis Moment. Can you embed the form into the website using without using the pages?
Yes, yes. The example that I showed you had the page standalone with the menu options and all that sort of stuff, but you can absolutely embed it within your page without that. It's quite easy to remove that. So just when I was in that builder, just delete the top part.
And we have another question from Justin. Is the address validation included in the price?
The coding for the address validation is, but what you would need to do is subscribe to the third-party data validation tools. And currently this is data tools for this first release. So I think that for the page itself, can we have the branded domain? That's the same with the vanity URL one. So yes, you can.
Do you offer matched giving campaigns?
Again, this is, I think this is going to be more of a, back end side of things. If you've got something, and configuration at the front end. So I'm going to say yes, but you're going to need probably some help setting that up.
And I think the last question is it easy to embed tracking analytics like Google Analytics, Metapixel, etc.?
Yeah, so that's similar to the first response with UTM. So the Google Analytics is not part of this initial release, but it's planned for the next release or upgrade of it.
Right. So I think that's end of the questions. We'll be sending a link along with the recording to everyone after this webinar anyway. So feel free to join using that link. And do let us know if you have any more suggestions so that we can bring that up in the upcoming webinars.
Yep. And I think what we'll do for the link is show that first one form going through without the anti-fraud stopping it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us in this webinar. Hope you really like it, and do let us know any new topics if you want to include.
Okay, thank you. Thanks all for your time. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks everyone. Bye.